Hey everyone! I have to admit I was looking forward to today's episode quite a bit, as I've been meaning to revisit this title for quite some time. For those who've never heard of or played this game before, strap in. For today's episode, we'll be checking out the classic platformer, Klonoa, To Phantomile. Released in December of 1997 in Japan, and late 1998 for the US on the PlayStation 1, Klonoa To Phantomile is what's known as a 2.5D platformer. This refers to a platforming game that has levels rendered in 3D, despite the actual game being played in 2 dimensions. More on the gameplay in a bit. Klonoa is a cute, anthropomorphic cat, dog, rabbit-like creature, and his friend Hupo is a floating, face with hands that retracts into a ring, held in Klonoa's hand. The two go on an adventure through Phantomile, a land powered by the dreams of others, in order to stop Gadius, a creepy masked person with an awesome spacey cloak set on turning Phantomile into a world of nightmares. Klonoa's gameplay is simple, but surprisingly creative in its execution. Klonoa can jump, hover, grab enemies and objects, and throw said enemies and objects across the stage. Depending on the situation, throwing enemies can cause you to jump higher, hit switches, help carry you to higher platforms, and all kinds of other functions. Figuring them out is half the fun. Each world also has a boss fight to close it all out. The soundtrack is excellent, and really fits well with the game's dreamlike atmosphere. Nothing felt out of place or forced. The game is not always as straightforward as it looks. Pathways do branch out in each stage, with different secrets hidden throughout. Figuring out which paths will take you to secrets and which ones will take you toward the end of the stage is a gamble in the beginning, and may take a few replays to grasp 100%, which the game thankfully gives you the option to do after beating it. Another thing you should not be fooled by is the game's cutesy appearance. While the plot starts out in a lighthearted tone, things get much darker and serious by the midpoint. The ending, without going into spoilers, is even more of a gut punch. That's not to say the game isn't appropriate for younger players, in fact it was designed for them, but know that the messages and twists could really take them by surprise if they're not prepared for it. Heck, I was in my 20s when I first played it, and it still got to me. The director of this game is Hideo Yoshizawa of Ninja Gaiden fame. He was quoted in Nintendo Power saying, "I tried to implement things that I felt could appear in anyone's dreams. Some of the stages appear more like pleasant dreams, whereas others are more like nightmares. We tried to imagine a dream world people could relate to from their own dreams and experiences." It's not hard to see what he's talking about, as there are plenty of stages, both light and dark looking, which provide all kinds of dreamlike sequences. So what is it about this game that makes it so special to people? Well, it's a loaded question for sure, but I'll try my best to answer it. There are all kinds of video games out there, some with incredible stories but lackluster to okay gameplay at best, and some with incredible gameplay but lackluster to okay stories at best. I believe this is one of those rare cases where everything fits just perfectly. It's a game that both challenges you with its platforming and puzzles, and keeps you equally invested in its story without skipping a beat. You could easily speed through most of the game if you just want to get to the rest of the story, but you also have the option of exploring the stages more in order to find all of the hidden sections too. Yet another perfect balance. But I think the biggest thing that sticks with gamers, and with myself, is the charm and personality behind the whole thing. You just don't see imaginative games like this every day, and the way that these characters quickly pulled me in and made me care about them is just testament to that. I believe the game still holds up wonderfully. The only thing I could imagine some people having an issue with is the graphics, if the sight of sprites against 3D backgrounds bothers you. Well, those gamers will be happy to know that this title already received the full remake treatment on the Wii back in 2008. Unlike the remasters we saw for Crash Bandicoot and Spyro recently, the Klonoa remake was made from the ground up, with completely updated controls and other tweaks on top of the graphical overhaul and additional gameplay modes. It's equally worth playing. Klonoa To Phantomile didn't have the greatest sales figures out there, but the franchise has been kept alive by an extremely passionate and welcoming fanbase, much to the delight of Yoshizawa and myself. I hope this video has also inspired you to give the game and its sequels a look, or even consider replaying it if you already have fond memories. I think you may be surprised by just how well it still holds up, even now. And that's going to do it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and let me know your thoughts on this classic platformer in the comments below.